Welcome back, this is Hatch, and today we have a re-upload of State of the Game featuring The Division, because apparently my last upload decided, for whatever reason, not to record my sound. So I have to redo this and re-upload it to replace the current one that's up, which I am going to do now, and hopefully everything ends up being a lot better and I am going to be hearable through it. So we have fixed the problem that future videos will actually be having the proper sound where it's supposed to be, and we'll be actually able to start growing this community and my channel. So let's jump into it.
Welcome everyone to State of the Game for the 27th of April 2017. I think we have to say 2017 just in case we come back, years later and we need to know. But anyway, how are you doing, Yannick?
Great.
We won't talk too much about that because people want to know about the game. Great is good enough. That's fine.
All right.
I think people are fine with that. You could probably get it out of the way. Can you say balancing just like once or twice?
Just once.
All right.
Balancing.
All right. Just for Kiloton. Balancing.
It doesn't count if Hamish says it though.
Balancing.
It only counts if I say it.
Balancing. There you go. We need to give him some material.
Yep.
Anyway, more material for Kiloton later. Anyway, you will see down below that we've got a couple of things to talk about today. Acronym heavy, PTS, and ETF.
Yeah.
It's kind of the flavor for today.
Yeah.
The PTS was updated this morning?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was. We released what we call PTS2, which is the second iteration with a few more changes that have been listed on the patch notes on the forums. I think you can still type !patch notes and you will get a link to that.
Yeah, I think Gabe's updated that. And he might have also updated perch notes as well.
Perch notes as well, okay.
You can see that. Because I had that turned off because I hadn't updated it yet.
And yeah, so some of the main changes that we did in there, there's a bunch of bug fixes. That's one bug fixes count.
I think so far it's working.
But yeah, on top of that, so some of the changes
now
we
it's
did was
working.
based on the,
Okay.
on the first PTS and also on things that people had been talking about for some time already and asking us to do. So for example, the hipfire, this has been a constant discussion for a very long time. People were recently especially complaining about hipfire, or the auto aim with a controller, or the aim assist with a controller when hip firing, which is absolutely kind of counterproductive because hipfire should not be accurate. And
That's kind of the whole point.
the aim assist makes it accurate, so yeah.
Exactly. I mean, well, that's kind of one of the things. I mean, I can't remember exactly what patch it was in. I think actually 1.6 changed the hipfire accuracy and the recoil and these sorts of things.
Yeah.
But then on consoles specifically, you had
Yeah.
it so it was doing all that sort of thing. So I'm happy to see that change is in, particularly because a couple of days ago or yesterday on the stream, someone in chat was asking, because this PTS specifically is PC only, does that mean all of the changes cater to only the PC audience? And I get that. I understand why people would be concerned about that. But no, this one is very much a console.
Yeah, it's and yeah, you're right, because some people have been asking if this was a change just for PC. It's not. It's really also for console. That doesn't mean it's like we consider hipfire to be addressed. We'll definitely need to keep an eye on it and see how much of this actually changes.
Definitely.
And if that hopefully will make the situation better, but it's probably not going to be enough to really address the hipfire. So we'll keep looking at that and potentially have another pass at it in the next update.
Definitely, it's just one of those things that is it's in like a really tricky part of the gameplay because it needs to be in there.
Yeah,
hipfire is an integral part of the game, but it's been overutilized in certain types of gameplay, which is kind of led to the whole chicken dance PvP, which like, but I know there are a bunch of people who don't, us included.
Yeah. So yeah, just to sum up and make it clear, because I've seen some people asking in chat because they haven't read the patch notes, the aim assist on hipfire when using a controller is gone. There used to be an aim assist when you're using a controller on hipfire. This is gone. You won't get an aim assist anymore. The next thing we wanted to mention was nimble. So with the first PTS, we changed Nimble as we had announced by changing the heal you get from Nimble from a direct heal to a heal over time, and also making it that you actually have to stay in the destination cover in order to get your heal. And that was a bit like after, I mean, we've seen people playing and trying it on the PTS, we've tried it ourselves. And yeah, that was just a bit too much.
I think it slowed down gameplay a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
It kind of, you'd end up in the cover and you'd be like, oh, okay, now I can play again.
If you survive that.
Yeah, exactly. So this is kind of cool. It's it still means that, I don't know, Nimble's one of those funny ones because I find, and I know a lot of people have the same thing, that it's situationally great, but also sometimes in PvP it can be kind of horrendous because you commit to too long of a cover move and you get shot at on the way, you get stunned or you get grenaded. It's I kind of like it. It's I see Demonic in chat saying Nimble unnerf incoming. I think it's kind of in the middle. Like we have this happy medium now where it's changed so you can't just bounce around covers and get like infinitely healed. Yeah. But well, I mean you can, but you have to not take damage in that time.
So the change for those who haven't read the patch note is that now we stick to Nimble being a heal over time, but something we don't want to change. You won't get the health directly.
So does it?
Be an
It
overtime
is
on
still
4
coming
seconds, but you don't
through.
have to stay in cover anymore. So you can use Nimble, go to another cover, and your heal over time begins, and then you can.
So is it still?
Live your life.
It is still coming through. Okay.
So you don't have to actually stay in the cover to get the
very good.
To get the
I
heal
think
effect.
I finally fixed it.
And the last thing, and that one is obviously going to be debated, is the airburst, airburst Seeker Mine. So we had announced for some time already, actually, I think it must have been like a few state of the games, that we had said that we were going to do something about it. And the plan was to move some of the damage from burst damage into the fire effect.
And so you continue, sorry.
Okay. So yeah, this was what we announced we would do. We also said we would change the stagger or remove the stagger. The stagger is gone, but the damage wasn't moved. And we said in the first patch notes, in the patch notes for PTS1, we announced that the damage was moved. This was a mistake. It wasn't moved actually on PTS1. Yeah. And it turns out that we're actually, so far, we're quite happy that way. And that doesn't mean it's never going to change. And I know that a lot of people were hoping for this change to happen because they think that Seeker Mine and Airburst is still too strong. And it could be. But right now, we definitely want to take it very slowly and be very careful with nerfing it, because we don't want to nerf it to the ground and then regret it later and have to come back. So we'll take small incremental steps and just like do it little by little. So far, we're quite happy with where it's at now by not changing the damage, just removing the stagger. We also modified the fire effect that you get from Airburst, so now it's actually a real status effect fire, which means it can be cleansed by the player if you receive it, if you survive the burst, of course. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things, and I understand that some people might be a little bit upset about it, or maybe still concerned. But we're in that situation.
Now there's
where,
a mic.
And realistically, we have the most diverse.
Okay, so I think I have finally fixed it
in the division. And any small change that we can make has a much bigger impact than we can even imagine. Yep. So it's got to be very, very careful at this stage.
Yeah, but obviously there's going to be a lot of discussion and debate about that, and I see in the chat already that a lot of people have opinions about it.
Yeah, that's great.
So it is still working,
it's,
which is fine.
It's not completely off the table,
I think
but right
it's
now
going to work.
We really want to try it that way.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's what I had for the PTS. There's more in the patch notes.
There is a lot more in the patch notes.
We're not going to do the whole reading the patch notes thing.
Yeah, we were here for too long last time, and people got a little bit bored. There's like, fixed a bug where, fixed a bug where, fixed a bug where. There you go. Oh man, Kiloton's going to. Anyway, continue on, because people will have noticed, exclamation ETF is now a commercial in chat. We are ready to open the signups.
Yes.
For ETF Charlie.
Yes. So what is the ETF? Let's assume, because some people might not know what the ETF is actually. So the ETF stands for Elite Task Force, and the concept is that we're going to select a bunch of you guys, invite you to the studio. This time it's going to be at Reflections, which is one of the sister studio working with Massive on the Division. It's going to be held at Reflections in Newcastle in the UK, and we're going to invite a bunch of you guys for 4 days. Used to be 3 days. This time it's going to be 4. We want to actually make it a bit longer to have more time for discussion. And yeah, for 4 days, we're basically going to sit down together. There's going to be devs from Reflections, from Redstorm, from Massive. We will be there as well, and we'll have a bunch of discussions and workshops and debates about the game, about what we want to do. We're going to tell you more about what we're doing for year 2. We're going to talk about update 1.7 and update 1.8. We're going to talk about all the balancing efforts, all the priorities that we have, and try to make sure that we're all in line on the next things that are going to come to the game.
Yes. One of my questions for you, I mean, I already know the answer, but I think it's important to talk about. How do you think that Charlie will differ from previous ETFs? Obviously, we've learned a lot from running 2 of these already. It's an intense few days.
Yeah.
But what are some of the things that we think we can do better on the ETF?
First the duration, making it 4 days instead of 3. That might not sound like much, but it's actually like doing it 3 days in the past 2 iterations we did. We found out that we were kind of a bit too stressed with time and trying to pack as much as we could in these 3 days. We think adding another day is going to allow us to actually take more time to discuss. But it's mostly in terms of timing. We are doing it way earlier in the production schedule than what we would have done in the past.
That's important.
And that's very important. So the plan with this one is really to do it early. That's also why we're going to talk about 1.7 and 1.8 and not do an ETF for 1.7 and then another ETF for 1.8.
Yeah.
We're going to do everything at once. So the discussion is going to be very early in the production pipeline, which means that the feedback we're going to get and the decisions that are going to be made will be made in time to have an even stronger impact on the game and on the updates that we're working on. In the past ETFs, and I know some people have been talking about it, and even ETF members, especially ETF Bravo, have been talking about the timeline, and that they felt it was probably a bit too late. And that's true, but it was kind of late.
I'd say so.
I don't know if we could have done it differently because of the production schedule anyway. But it happened a bit late, which means that a lot of the discussions were focused on the balancing of Lastest, and also a lot of the discussion was for things that have not yet been implemented in the game, which of course makes it feel like they didn't have enough of an impact, but they did. They really did, though. So now we just really want to do it earlier. So there's gonna be some time between this ETF and then update 1.7 and 1.8.
That's great.
Which means that the discussions are not going to be so much about the balancing tweaks on this feature and that feature. It's mostly going to be philosophical discussion about the features themselves.
Exactly, and I think it's great because that lead time gives us the ability for players to have more impact on what happens in especially 1.8.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see. And also, it's worth noting that obviously we're going to have a closed. Well, I mean, we want to see how much we can bring the community into the ETF as well. But the conversation surrounding all of these things, it's going to be important that for 1.7 and 1.8, even though some people might not be in the room, that you give us your ideas. If you have specific ideas or things you're passionate about, we do have a feedback and suggestions part of the forum, which is always a good way to
absolutely. Just before the ETF is always a good time to have proper discussions and constructive discussions about the game to make sure that the ETF members come to the office with all the kind of the backing from the community, and like there's been already a lot of constructive discussions, and even for us to prepare the ETF discussions, it's good to already go through all the discussions that you guys have had on the forums, on Reddit, everywhere, to prepare kind of the topics we want to tackle. So the more constructive, the better.
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of comments in chat. People have good ideas and comments. 4v4 PvP. I agree. That'd be awesome. Make a case for it.
Yeah.
Because I don't disagree with that. That'd be awesome. So registrations are now open. If you type !ETF, you will be able to find a link for that.
Yeah.
And they are open until next Wednesday at 6 p.m. CEST, unless PETA has fucked it up and the automatic close doesn't happen. Anyway, next Wednesday night,
and
Super Week.
It's very important, before you apply to the ETF, please make sure that first you are available at the dates. So we said May 23rd to May 26th. And probably the day before and after, especially if you're from the US, because flight time to the UK is quite long. So please make sure that you're available for this time, which is pretty much a week. So we know that's asking a lot.
Yep.
But make sure that you are available. And second, please make sure that you are ready to go to the UK. So that you have, if you don't live in the UK already, make sure that you have a passport, that it's valid, and that you're allowed to basically fly there.
Yes.
Because
true.
it happened in the past that people registered, we selected them for the ETF, and then we actually couldn't invite them because the passport was not ready in time. And,
then one of those spots is burnt by someone who can't come. And we can't have that.
So yeah.
If you can't make it, don't apply. I saw a comment before saying that they have put great suggestions on the feedback and suggestions part of the forum. Again, we do read those, and they are fantastic, and there are a bunch of great ones on there. That does not mean that we will have the time, have developers have the time to respond to all of those things, but please know they are being read, and especially the good ones are thrown up the chain further and further.
Yeah.
But maybe we can do a better job of letting people see that we are reading those things.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think it's, as you said, it's just a case of like when we don't answer, people think that we are not reading. In reality, we are reading a lot. It's just that we don't take the time to answer, and we probably should.
What else do we have here? Well, I saw a question before as well, and I wrote this down. Well, you wrote it, but I told you to write it. If you live in the UK, we won't be checking your passport because we won't need one. So just to clarify, you need to have entry into the UK. If you're already in the UK, you're all right. It's fine.
The passport is not for us to check. It's just to make sure that you're allowed to enter.
Yeah, and it's going to kick you out of the country. He's going to shout Brexit and slap you.
Well, I mean, if we are even allowed in the country.
Well, it's another whole thing. Join us for Politics Podcast on Monday.
Yes.
We'll get to that. What else do we have in here? That's kind of it. That's it. Just to reiterate, do give us your ideas about 1.7 and 1.8. You can sign up for ETF Charlie now, !ETF. There's also the PTS2 patch notes.
Yes.
And that's all for today. Trying to keep it nice, short, and sweet.
And clean.
If you have any questions, we'll be back next week, obviously on State of the Game. Because people always ask, about an hour ago, are you guys doing State of the Game today? Assume yes.
Yeah.
We'll let you know if we're not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
The default answer is yes.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting, hopefully, some of you people from chat in Newcastle very soon.
Yeah.
We need to get a curry, Yannick.
And looking forward to watch Kiloton's edit of this video.
Yes. Maybe we should, no. I'll give him some more ammunition next time.
Yes.
That's all right. All right. See you later, everyone.
See you guys.
Bye.
So, now we have watched State of the Game, and ETF is officially opened. I'll have a link in the description box below for anybody that watches this video that wants to sign up and has the capability to go. Give that link a try and fill out their form. Just as they said, make sure you have entry into the UK. Also, I'll leave a link to my Twitter where you can get a hold of me, keep up to date of any type of happenings on my channels, as well as my Beam. As things calm down in my personal life, we are going to be working towards streaming daily, even if it's just a short stream every day. We are going to start streaming daily, and I am going to be starting here soon the 365-day stream challenge of at least streaming an hour every day. So this has been a Hatchet Gaming production. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch everybody in the next one, and Hatch is out.